Hey, I'm Amanda Vernon. Welcome to Word for the Week. My word for the week is welcome him as you would me. So today I'm filming from a tour near Boston, Massachusetts. I'd like to share how I felt God speaking to me in Mass this past weekend. I'd like to explore what I think God is calling me to do about that word, and then ask how my word could also speak to your life as well. So last Sunday, we were planning to go to the 5 p.m. Mass as a family, but we were super late, so we ended up going to the latest Mass we could find in the area, which was also at our parish at 6:30 p.m. in Spanish. I was excited about this because I love speaking Spanish. I love going to Mass in Spanish. My kids were not so excited. Now 3-year-old Sarah happened to be in rare form. It's not really her fault, right? Like, we started Mass at the time when she normally gets ready to go to bed for the night. So I don't even want to talk about how her behavior was last week. Okay, but after Mass, our almost 9-year-old son, I think he said it was like purgatory because it was so long. It was like an hour and a half. It was so long, and on top of that, he couldn't understand it. Anyway, I enjoyed it, and the word that stood out to me was, of course, in Spanish, and it went like this: Recíbelo como a mí mismo, which means welcome him as you would me. So as I've been praying about this word, I remembered a conversation that I had with my husband, David, after our first child was born. David was asking me specifically, how are we going to live out Jesus's calling now that we're parents? He said, like, how are we gonna clothe the naked? Now, David was asking me this while I was changing Jamal's diaper. Now, Jamal was 10 months old, and 10-month-old babies are stronger than you would think, okay? So he was strong enough to try to escape me, like power crawling away in the opposite direction as I was trying to change him. So I'm like trying to keep Jamal still and like change his diaper and keep him safe while answering David's question, how are we going to clothe the naked? And then later on, we kept talking, and David's like, how are we gonna like feed the hungry? And Jamal's sitting in his little high chair, and I'm like feeding him baby food. How are we gonna feed the hungry? How are we going to visit the prisoners in prison? You know, we put Jamal in his little crib for the night, kissed him goodnight. And I was thinking about these questions, realizing, oh, we're doing it now. Because my initial thought was like, yeah, we're so busy with our son, how are we gonna go serve? But I realized, okay, clothing the naked, putting diapers on this child, and like feeding the hungry, if we didn't feed our son, who would? And then visiting the prisoners in prison, you know those bars on the crib, like that's their little baby prison. Okay, but seriously, I remembered that conversation that I had with David this week, and I realized that I'm called to receive everyone who God is sending to me in my life, like my family members, my closest friends, the people I see at my concerts this week in Boston. I'm called to receive them as I would Christ, as I would receive somebody who God is sending directly to me, because they are who God is sending directly to me. So perhaps a question that you can ask yourself or ask the Lord in prayer is, how are you receiving those who are sent into your life? Are you able to see them as somebody who God sent to you? Are you able to see them as someone in need of your kindness or your attention? Like when you are stopping and serving someone, whether it's a coworker or a family member or a fellow student at school, that you are serving Christ and serving the church. So I'll just invite you to enter into that question with me this week. This episode is made possible by my patrons. Their support empowers me to share my experience of God and the church while feeding my family at the same time. This week has been amazing to see how far we've come in the last couple of months with our ministry and our career. Like this week, David was able to travel with me to Boston to attend one of my book signing events, to speak alongside me, and it was just amazing to see how so many of the dreams that we've had on our hearts are coming true just at this next level, and I'm just so grateful to our patrons for being a huge part of that. So if you'd like to consider becoming a patron, you can click on the link below. Otherwise, you can share, comment on, or like this video to help us reach even more people. Thank you so much, and God bless.